Why is it that when a woman has multiple children, maybe by multiple different men, that she's not qualified now for a good man, a quote unquote good man?
Some things you simply gotta accept that's what most men's preferences are. Describe. Let's talk about it.
A lot of people might get mad at me for asking this question, but I don't know. I want to know, why is it that when a woman has multiple children, maybe by multiple different men, that she's not qualified now for a good man, a quote unquote good man, anymore? Like, say if she had her kids in her 20s, because a lot of people, not just females, but we like to blame everything on females when they have kids. Why did you open your legs, whatever? But a lot of females, we make bad decisions and we choose the bad men that we normally wouldn't choose when our mind is grown. So why is it that when we did that in our 20s or whatever, and now a woman is in her 40s, 45, 46, whatever the case is, and she has these 3 kids that she had in her 20s, that now that she has her own, maybe her own house, her own car, maybe her own business, or just a really good job, why is it now that she's still not qualified or valued enough to have a good man because she had 3 kids by 3 different men in her 20s, and she made decisions back in her 20s, but now she's this age and she's got herself together, she's not qualified for a good man? I just don't get it. Like, I don't know. It is like, I don't know.
So it's not that you're not qualified, like you're not allowed to. No, it's just that those men have a preference. And just the same way you get to, rest in yours and you get to exclude men because of your preference, so do those men. Now, you have to be careful how you define a good guy. Because good versus rich, wealthy, those often get interchanged in this conversation. What we're saying and why it seems like exclusion, why it seems like you're not allowed, it's because whenever you have women talking about you have kids, multiple baby daddies, and you're trying to say, well, I was young. You want to use the excuse that you were young and dumb. That's why you did these things. Men don't get that same excuse about being young and dumb, so they did X, Y, and Z. They're held to that. They're held accountable for their decisions when they're young. I wasn't fully developed. I didn't really understand what I was doing, but I still shot that man. We have a place for you, right? Oh, I totally understand. You were 22 years old. Your frontal lobe wasn't fully developed. No, you don't get any real grace in that sense. You're still responsible for your decisions, even if those decisions now mark and change you dramatically for the rest of your life. Trying to make it seem as if that's in my past, it shouldn't matter, it shouldn't influence my future, it flies in the face of what most men, how they live their life, especially those quote unquote good men, those ones that are rich, that are successful. They understand the effects of some mistakes you can't walk back. Once you walk down a certain path, that's it. That's part of your story. When you pretend for it not to matter or you gloss over it, it screams at us about a lack of accountability. If you can't understand why you having multiple kids with multiple men affects your outcomes for the rest of your life, you don't understand enough about men, and it's because at this point you simply refuse to understand enough about men. But listen, before we continue, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss no uploads. Subscriber Sunday, 7 p.m. Central, where we get together, a little live stream, a little group project. So I'd like to see a lot of you guys there. So hype the video, share the video, and we got some merch in the store. I'm working on some new merch too. But when we hear this question about, well, what prevents this? It's that man's choice, especially that actual 10%, 5% man. But if you want to make the argument that you're not looking for a hyper successful man, then you probably wouldn't have a problem. You still got a bunch of men willing to be, that are quote unquote nice, that are in your DMs, that it doesn't matter how many kids you've ever had. It doesn't matter how many baby fathers that you've had. They're still waiting and hoping for a shot to be with you, even at your advanced age. But that's not who you want. That's not who you're going for. When you pretend as if you don't have suitors, you just don't like those. Those aren't your type. You still want a better man, a better class of man. This is what starts excluding you, because you don't, I don't want to say value, but you don't look at your value on the sexual dating marketplace and examine it correctly. You don't have to accept, you don't have to understand the intricacies of why it makes you less valued on the open market. You just have to understand that it does significantly. Multiple baby daddies, you have to understand that man is looking and saying, okay, dealing with you means also tangentially, even a bit, dealing with these other lives. If it's 3 kids, 3 baby daddies, that's 6 different personalities that he has to deal with that may have influence in his home. Even if you're at your big age and even if they're out the house, how many women just write off their children? How many women don't talk about their children? Their children's problems end up being a bit of their own problem. But did that care? Now I have to deal with, okay, the relationship you have with that child's father, that child's father, that child's father. But I have a choice whether or not to walk into this or not. When you look and you talk about, well, now she has a successful business. Now she has her money where she's made, again, because you don't understand men and what men value, what they're looking for, you try to think that these are things that make up for what you're talking about. This does not erase your scenario, your situation. Great, congratulations. You know, you had that, you have kids, you were a single mom for such a much amount of time, and you've made money. That doesn't move the needle at all. If you understood how men look and evaluate their choices, their potential choices, you would see, okay, the best way for you to overcome being a baby mama, multiple baby daddies, is for you to explain to these men why this scenario is advantageous to them, why being with you is more advantageous than being with someone that has no kids. That's a very high bar, especially today when we don't have a culture that actually teaches or hopes or ignites the spark of curiosity to dive into your femininity, to understand these things, to bring that to the surface. You don't get it, you don't understand it. You think somehow it's just men that are lacking. If we could just turn the page and get these men to understand that we're still viable, that they should step up. The men are telling you exactly, no, we don't want to do that. In mass, no, we don't want to do that. And then the more successful you are, those men are, because you're also not building with these men, you want them to already be pre-built. He has no loyalty to you, definitely no loyalty to your baby daddies, definitely no loyalty to your kids, which you cherish inherently. You hold them close to your bosom. They're the most important thing to you. They're not to us. We don't know them. We don't know your scenario, your situation. Tell me how this is a value add at this point in time. The time for you to be that, even if you were younger and you met someone on the way up and you got a chance to be there and support him and help him, yeah, that's more likely to work for you. But when you wait for someone to actually be solidified, successful, there's no reason for him to say, yeah, let me choose this, when he has the multitude of choice, when he has the optionality. Pretending like, well, I don't see why it's a problem. It's cool. You can be ignorant of the truth and it still affects you. That's real. You don't have to know every law in the books. You can still get pulled over for one of them. Officer, I'm unfamiliar with that law. I shouldn't be held accountable. No, it affects you greatly. The more you pretend like it doesn't, we have more conversations like this that don't really make sense for you. But listen, if you disagree, let me know down in the comments below. If you see other videos on the screen, check those out. Let me know your thoughts about those and those videos. And of course, if you're listening to my voice now, you have not subscribed, I think you should. Just trying to build something dope. I'll see you in the next one.